really big problem. They have no way to actually stop the engagement. They just have to dodge it.
Because they also have so many ways to start. Like anyone from Vitality at
Tired
this
of
point, I
this
feel
country,
should
I
just be
swear
confident
to
enough
God.
to go in and catch
Fuck.
GCT by surprise, which helps a lot in how the arrows eventually land. Because the things get just so messy, similar to what we're seeing right now down bottom, but Tokyo at least will be safe from that.
They're probably going to re-gank it at some point, right? Go for the recall for Vivian and then look to make it happen once again. Try to steal this camp away, but now really punishing Kyoe.
Seriously, Fumi Echo all alone. Might just go for the solo kill. A bit of help there from Vival, but majority of the work was done there by Fumi Echo all alone. Now it's a potential punish that GCT are looking for, and Kuejo will get the job done.
A little frustrating, of course, but it's still worth taking out the enemy jungler. Kyoe is currently still level 4 to Vival's level 7. 3-level difference, and stealing away camps in front of their face.
He's been doing this since game 2. Game 2, a lot of resources denied from Kyoe, and that still holds true for game number 3. Only difference is probably you get a bit more help from Fumi Echo as well. She's been always in the face of Kyoe on this Balmond. She's not afraid even if Kyoe is on this hero.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked as well, but at this point in time, we're just going to have to wait and see, right? Mid-game is when we're expecting GCT to really start picking up the pace, especially since Tokyo has yet to get that first item down. And once that first item is down, it's only ramping upwards. Purify out early.
Yeah, that was even before the first objective. Cine 2, the way that she's been landing these arrows have, I think, influenced so much of how this is not the usual aggressive Lilia early game that you're seeing from GCT. Ooh, little counter done right there. Cine, another arrow connecting onto Kyoe. The guiding wind might help, but Vivian will actually go for the setup. Will the follow-up be enough, though? It's going to be Kyoe targeted first, and
True. This enough actually stopped. Why? Oh boy. Nigeria
they
is
will
not for
actually
me.
find the kill.
Nigeria is not for me. Cause what the fuck? Bro, look at this shit. I have to get this.
From behind, Vival goes into, and that's enough to complete this
Bro, Vitality are
wipeout.
winning this game. I'm stressed. Tired. Extreme by this time is just a bad idea.
For GCT!
That was so clean. That was like so unironically clean. Initially, it was just, okay, we got... Initially, it was just, okay, we got... This big clip coming in from Vivian, but really was there enough space and time for the rest of the team to actually collapse? And they said, you know what? Yes, we'll just do it underneath the turret. Doesn't matter, Vivian's got all the big battle spells out, and because they have no Purify, there is no escape.
Everything, all the skills that they threw, the sequence was just too perfect for Vitality in that gang. You mentioned it, they might go for another try, and that was the perfect time to do it up against Tokyo, who is clearly struggling in the gold lane matchup right now. Another arrow, the burst!
Oh.
The burst is just a bit too much. Kuejo steps on another trap as well. Now we're starting to feel the lack of sustained heroes in the hands of GCT.
Yeah, but they need the Flask Oasis. Another arrow connects into a Fatal Links, but still manages to pull out with the help of a buffered Guiding Winds. These are the little mechanics here, right? You're just buffering abilities upon abilities, praying that the Chain CC has a broken link.
No, they see Vival. Vival trying to go after Sonjke. That's a lot of members of GCT you spot out there, but she's still not afraid to just make her presence felt.
And they can't even they can't even sit deep in enemy territory, or at least move up into no man's land to pick up the minions. At this point, it's pretty impossible for Kyoe to try to go for a steal. She needs to close that level gap to make sure that her retribution is bigger. I'm going to assume probably close to level 10 would be most ideal. Oh,
Tokyo! Purify already used! Still gonna be okay.
Bro,
Solange
it's
Kyoe
a
to show
network
up from the
problem.
sides, but the damage on Kyoe is no joke.
I'm using my
Fumi
laptop as a
Echo
Core
gets to get away
i5
from that turret, but there goes
10th
the
gen,
first
so
Eagle. They might not want
has
to
a very
commit
good
this though.
processor.
No, this is
Everything
a no
is pretty
contest, an
good.
easy
It's
no
just
contest
my
for
conscious
Vitality.
network is ass.
Going to deny the purple buff as well,
swear to
and they're
God, it's
probably
just ass.
going to cut off the mid-tier 2 here just to make sure they secure mid-tier 1.
Just how many resources have been stolen away from GCT at this point? Vival's movements across the map have been a bit too unpredictable for GCT, or maybe they just couldn't also keep up because of the pressure that she's been doing. Look at her up against Kyoe, even using... Oh, that wasn't the retribution. Oh!
Yeah.
Was able to iframe her way out of the lethal counter!
This is super silly. It is clear. They don't remember every single one of Hirara's abilities. She has 4 to work with here. Gotta make sure that you remember all of them. There is a snare, there is an iframe, and most importantly, she has multiple dashes. Vitality taking full control.
They've pretty much shown us how the matchup goes. Hirara being able to play around this matchup against the Balmond, but it's also just not the Hirara making all of this possible. It's everyone being able to just accomplish their laning phases successfully and not allowing GCT to do the rotations they want.
And Vitality, at this point, they've got squatters' rights. They're basically camping in their home, sitting in their jungle, waiting for somebody to come, and just to be an absolute nuisance, they're not going to leave.
Looking at the items right now, you could, I think, see how significantly behind the EXP laner and gold laner is. It's the sides that are feeling majority of the pressure, but there could be no comparison to the jungle. I think that's almost 4K that they have to deal with. But Vivian and Fumi Echo once again are gonna go in. They're waiting for the perfect moment, and there you go, Vivian! Without the Purify, sets up for Solange, but she still has the black shoes. But it's space that they want. It's space that they create to steal away more and more objectives from GCT.
6 seconds left. Oh wait, the arrow actually hits, but they know punish just yet. Kyoe able to get out just in time. I don't know. This is starting to look a little risky here. A lot of the big resources have been thrown out from the side of Vitality. They're trying to back this off. The only person who can hold on is Fumi, and now they punish with Vival.
Fumi Echo on a purple buff, by the way.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, Yubon jumping in, falling Star Moon, but Chell also dealing a decent amount of damage. Vivian too, another perfect pair. Could she go for another setup? She doesn't have the flicker, and GCT are just gonna scramble away.
This scramble is actually not really great for GCT, right? But at the same time, they kind of don't have a choice. They want to keep Vitality in check, and the only way to keep them in check is to be right up in their faces.
Another falling Star Moon, Yubon and Kuejo trying to work hand in hand just to be able to get in, but Vitality let go of the lore just as they do so. They have other things to accomplish before they commit to that.
Yep, they're going back to the fundamentals, reset up those waves. Look at that top and bottom side, both in neutral territory, and GCT are the first ones on it. However, with top wave pushing in, Vitality, are they going to get away with this?
They're letting it go. They don't mind that top wave pushing in. They just really want to secure this objective for themselves. GCT will settle with at least a tier 2 up top, but maybe not even, because another Abyssal Arrow from Cine will connect. That's going to be Liubon, though, a very tanky XP lane, but this time it's not just Cine. Vival shows up, Vivian's here too. Cine tries to run away. That goes the Fatal Licks just to make sure they get out alive and pick up a kill, even before the Lord.
Oh, it's so good. And Fumi, she doesn't mind. Look at her. The unkillable EXP laner on this Alice. Absolute monster. Underneath the turret as well, Vival getting really disrespectful from all sides. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat the fastest game just yet, but I feel like Vitality are ramping it up to make sure that it's somewhat close.
It's so they'll have records of longest games and shortest games, both in their hands alone. But Vitality, that seems to be the case. They're keeping things fast. Vivian going in once again. There haven't been Purifies forced out just yet. Oh, there you go. Just as I mentioned it, 2 are already down.
Yep, big important spells here. And
But it's funny
we
that
know what's going to happen.
GCT
How
actually
much you
won
want to bet?
game
It's
1.
either the Throne Ruin or the Fatal Links. Which do you think is going to hit
just
more targets?
playing
Okay,
like
maybe I
shit
might just go for
right now.
Fumi right here, but they will focus on the turrets for
No,
now. They want to
Purify
create
used
space, they
by
want to go for the base
Lynx.
turrets, and that's exactly
a
what
good
they
signal
need to
for
keep the
Atlas
pressure
Pro.
going for GCT.
That's
Just
a
letting it happen. No chance. Wait, the arrow.
Bro,
It hits
this
on the
Selena
first
is not
target.
missing.
They move backwards, yet still they maintain this pressure. I love the fact that Vitality plays textbook because they know they can guarantee the win if they just take their time.
Yeah, they're not doing much of the risky plays. Everything seems very calculated from them. Even the moments where Vival does things like this or dives. Fumi Echo only just
nah,
in the
it's
back
game
line.
over.
But there goes
It's
Vivian with a
game
two-man
over,
set.
bro.
And Vivian already godlike. It's a double
Bro,
kill,
the
which she
trust
actually
is
picks up.
Atlas.
Moving on to a triple and a maniac. Can
It's a
she
maniac.
make it a savage? Yuba's the only
Maniac
target
Vival.
left. But they're gonna respect. They're gonna play it by the book. Flying clouds to where? She
nah,
wants to
they're
clear
too
the
good.
wave, but she cannot.
Indo
It's a
versus
savage for Vival,
Philippines Grand
and
Finals,
Vitality
baby.
take match point.
Insane
match
game
point.
there. Vival coming out huge with a savage, making
Bro.
it look easy at the same time.
actually
At this
destroying.
point, it's Team Vivality at this point, right?
Hirara has to make her way back to the bans.
It's got to be banned.
After what happened here, I doubt GCT want to go through that.
No
It's
way
all
they let
over
you
again.
out.
Ridiculous plays here coming in from game number 3 to turn it 2-1.
Okay, I
We
guess
look
this
at
is
these
last
plays
time
and we
when-
see, yes, the Fatal Links hint into 2. Even the Throne
Lasts.
Ruin to kind of make sure that they stay apart for half a second before we see the full combination
So
from
anyone that
Vival.
gets the
10,
code,
0,
good-
and
good
2.
luck, good
A
luck, good
literal
luck on your diamond
perfect
win,
game
bro.
coming out of this team.
Oh my goodness, Liu won too. I think she desperately wanted to just utilize the flying clouds to clear whatever she could, but that was just not one wave, that was a lot. As I think it's about time we break down this game and throw it over to our panel after these messages.
Wait, his body part is sold. Alright. People can work, bro. Yeah, vitality are good. Like, very good, bro. No lies.
Two fast games put Vitality on match point. One map away from moving forward to grand finals. GELTEK Cyber Team are going to have to dig deep, win the next 2 if they want also their spot into the grand finals. That map was another quick one, and it ends in a savage.
Yeah, honestly, that was amazing. But here's the thing. You were asking about Vival. When are you going to use the assassin? And now we got to go back to Kyoe. Why does she keep using tanks?
That's a question. That's a question because game 2, game 3, it was so clean, so fast by Team Vitality, and the main difference maker was Vival being able to pick up the assassin. So
Well, that's who
will we
everybody
be
keeps screaming.
seeing an assassin via assassin next time?
We need that, don't we? I think we need more assassins in our life. Spice things up for sure. Vival is getting all the attention out here in the crowd for sure. Let's take a look at our first action. It's towards the tail end. This is where things really start to fall apart for GELTEK Cyber Team. And man, it is tough to watch at times. Or excuse me, we go back to the beginning, and this is going to be one of those fights now where Vitality truly starts to gain a foothold in the match.
Allow me to rant just a little bit, right? Because here's the thing. Kyoe, she is moving away from her character. But here's the thing. What
Yeah,
is
you gotta
character?
be
Well,
fast.
philosophers have said that character
So
is
you're gonna
defined
miss.
by habits. What's habits is the thoughts and the activities that you do daily. And here's the thing. When you start to break character, when you move away from your natural routine, you will start to act without passion as well as perform or behave outside of your rational mind. So going
give
from
out
a
the
damage
last
dealer
diamond,
to a tank, we can definitely see
Without
Kyoe is
the
not
leader,
moving as she is supposed to do.
That, and also she wasn't set up for success, right? If she was on maybe a different kind of tank that like a Barrett has anti-CC, maybe it could have been different. But we already did mention in the drafts it would be
Yeah.
either the Bellman or the Barretts. But the fact that they chose the Bellman is so susceptible to CC, and you could even see her in that particular clip being taken out by a trap.
Let's go a little bit deeper into the match and look at around the 10-minute or so mark. And we have one of these incredible fights that ends up unfolding.
Yeah, this was the make it or break it moment, and at this stage in time, man, if you don't expect a big play from Fumi Echo, make sure that you expect it from Vivian, because she's sure to get that phalanx in, even under turret, and then the collapse after that was insane. This was the moment when the Maniac hit, and then she only had one more left. Leobon had no choice because she really needs to clear the minions, but she then technically gave it to Hirara, gave it to Viva on a silver platter, and that is one of the first savages that we've seen so far here at MWI.
Honestly, looking at that play, I really want to make sure, because right now is match point. GELTEK Cyber Team, we've seen teams going back to comfort, and honestly, it hasn't worked out. But I feel like for them, they really have to, because here's the thing, Kioe, you're not a meta player, right? You always play things that's outside of the meta, but it's something that you've practiced non-stop. And I also feel like Cassius have seen that, right? That's why we see an unorthodox ban, banning out the Baxia, banning out the Owls, and then eventually even the Yisun Shin. We were talking about if the Yisun Shin was there, maybe they would do well.
So is this one of those cases, you go back to map 2, the Hero Select actually benefited GELTEK. Did it benefit them this time around, or was it once again one of those factors of mechanics?
No. Game 1, Game 2, it felt like GELTEK still had a chance, an opportunity, because it looked like Team Vitality wasn't winning on the drafts per se, but in game number 3, Cassius really set the team up for success, right? Winning lanes, they were able to facilitate that as well. I feel like going up against the very best, it comes back down again to the drafts.
Taking a look at Vitality's dugout, they're in there, and you notice not a lot of really talking going on, strategizing, and I think because they're in their flow state, they just feel comfortable. They know they're in control, right? This would be a much different story if they had lost. They'd been down 2-1. I'm sure they would have been huddling up, but right now, nice and relaxed, calm LaFell, they look good.
This also shows that they have one thing in mind and they don't want to disrupt it, right? Because right now I feel like Cassius is having checkmate after checkmate when it comes to the bans. So I feel like the entire team, they're on the same page. Make sure Kioe doesn't play. Step number 1. Step number 2, make sure that Fumi Echo gets out of lane. Step number 3, win.
Well, the club championship update is well underway. From what I'm hearing, Trev is traveling. He's over on stage 3. What's going down over there?
It's too expensive.
Semi-final action well underway in MWI over at the Allianz Vault. I've managed to slip away, meet up with Chris at the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet, and he's going to update us on everything Dota at the moment.
Yeah, and you come at the right time, actually. When we're talking club championship, this is a big moment for week number 2. Falcons Key being crushed right this second. I literally, Slacks is right behind us getting this done. That is a massive, massive result up against the team they've gone up against with VG. But for them, Falcons only getting 200 points. They topped their group. They only come away with 200 points. It has been a
What kind of stupid shit is this? Wait a second.
with 200 points. It has been a miserable start for Falcons on this side of the arena.
Yeah, absolutely, and the same over at the Allianz Vault as well. Falcons, both teams dropped out in the quarterfinals too, so it's left down to Vitality playing off in their semi-final now. Faced a bit more pressure than they thought, and NAVI straight through to the grand finals as well. So that's another grand final appearance for NAVI over at the Allianz Vault in MWI. Stay tuned, more club championship action soon.
There. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
Thank you, Ton and Trev, for that club championship update. Vitality circled up. Let's get back on that stage. They're ready to go. Again, they're feeling confident. They're feeling comfortable. Just a touch, by the way, on that little interview that we had over on stage 3 with Trev and Ton. Falcons also getting eliminated early. Obviously, making it here for MWI was a big deal to the knockout stage, but they only get, like, I think a collective total of 200, 400 points. So eliminated early on stage 3. They're having a tough run. The club championship race is looking tough for them, at least for the first 2 weeks. But for NAVI, it is all guns ablaze. They're already in first place. And on top of that, in the club championship race, and on top of that, they just secured a spot into the grand final. So NAVI looking like one of the strongest orgs out there early on in just week 2 for the club championship. Now, back to reality, where we currently are. Team Vitality versus GELTEK Cyber Team. It is 2-1. Vitality is currently up, and GELTEK needs to come back. The pressure is at a boiling point for the GELTEK Cyber Team ladies. What's the game plan here?
I'm gonna go for Occam's Razor again. Do what's obvious, and I feel like in the first 3 pick, get KOA's hero. If not, it's just gonna get banned out, and then you're gonna be scratching your heads again, and then afterwards, you're like, well, I guess we lose, because game number 1, Vival got the Fredrin, not a great jungler, lost. And then game number 2 as well as 3, KOA got the Boxia as well as the Bellman, not really that great, and then lost. There seems to be a pattern, break that pattern.
So what's the hero select for KOA? What is the win condition for GELTEK Cyber Team?
I feel like there's plenty. When we're talking about KOA, she has so many unique picks under her belt, but obviously we're thinking about the assassins. She's picked up the Benedetta in the past, that's out meta. Fanny is something that should still find some success, but we haven't seen either. Lancelot, the Lings of the world. KOA is a highly mechanical player. That's the reason she was given the term Ice Queen
yeah.
in the first place, right? Everyone was really stunned with her exceptional gameplay. I would say top 3 in the league right now when it comes down to junglers. So give her a draft that allows her to perform at that level.
I gotta say, even in 2024, one of the times she got a title Ice Queen, when she was willing to pick up a Julian when Julian was really not in the meta, and she still did well with it. Right now, we are jumping in the draft here. GELTEK Cyber Team is gonna be first pick, blue side, Vitality, second pick, red side. We're playing Expanding Rivers, so this is gonna be a great opportunity for the teams to have very strong side laners. And now, banning out the Gwen, banning out the Atlas for GELTEK Cyber Team, for Vitality, banning out the Aurora, banning out the Marcel, and now an Esmeralda gets banned up as well. So GELTEK, based on what's happening in MWI, good early picks are that Belleric, that Carry. Aurora has been banned out now. In terms of the junglers, I don't know. Actually, now I've noticed it, we also didn't see much Freya, which I feel a bit weird for, but hey, c'est la vie.
It really depends on the team, I feel. Like some teams favor the Freya a little bit more than others. And in this particular matchup, we don't really see too much of Freya, but obviously still keep your eyes out for that. GELTEK here, if they do want to set up for a assassin in the jungle, maybe pick up something that usually counters it. Like the Moskov is still open. That's something that they can go for in the early phase of the drafts. With the Paquito also banned out, it's opening up that possibility even more.
Yeah, honestly, when you're playing Expanding Rivers, I feel like this is one of those maps, if you want to play double fighters, it's actually quite viable. But that does mean you have to pick up an early, either Kimi, Yusin Shin, or a Freya. Because I feel like Freya also enables quite a few double fighter matchups.
You want to go Freya Aulus for GELTEK? You know, fall back to the Aulus. I know it's not an assassin, but it is one of her priority heroes.
If they want to go for an Aulus, they're going to pick up something like a carry, because Aulus can deal with the front line-ish, but not really. He's kind of there more of a distraction rather than a true finisher. So I respect the carry pick and still opening up the possibility of, honestly, any picks on the jungle.
Okay. I think they're going to leave the gold lane matchup for later. They can do it on red 3. What is a hero that is left open? Do they want to prioritize their mid lane here first? Do they want to go for something like the Eve that has found them success if they want to control River?
I'm with Leo, honestly, where Leo said Eve is probably the strongest mid laner right now, and I do agree. Very tanky, a lot of damage, a lot of range. They pick up the Belleric first, as well as the Claude here. So this is very interesting. Not saying it's bad, but it is a losing matchup against the carry. So why do they pick up the Claude early? What are they hiding?
That's why I thought it would be red 3, because when it comes down to matchups, in the, well, I would say, yeah, early game, like 1 to 3, carry definitely dominates the lane, but Claude, in the longer scheme of things, especially when he already has his ult, it can still favor the Claude in moments like that. So are they waiting for the mid matchup first in order for them to choose? Like, are they choosing between the Lilia and the Yve? Or maybe they found success on the Selena earlier on. It turns out the Selena is one of Cini's power picks. Maybe they want to see if there's an opportunity to pick that up again.
Well, GELTEK has an opportunity to pick up a jungler right now, and they do. They pick up the Owlus as well as the Lapu Lapu. Good news, bad news. Good news, they get strong picks. Bad news, they're showing their hand. There's no deception in this kind of draft. So now, Cassius should not fumble the ball here. They know the matchups. They don't know mid, but who cares? Cini's pretty good.
What's the counter to the Owlus? Do they want to go for something like assassin heavy? But I feel like the window becomes very limited because the Owlus gets strong very quickly in the mid game.
Honestly, Baxia wouldn't be a bad pick here.
You want to go Baxia?
Because you already have the Belleric. The Belleric can change CC a little bit for the Owlus, especially if you wait for Owlus to use the first skill. And then the Baxia is there just to reduce the healing from Owlus as well as Lapu. Because so far, Vitality has won early just because they keep winning those trades. Baxia is a trade winner, but for now, they do pick up the Eve. So I feel like Vitality, they're keeping their options open because Baxia is one answer. The other answer is if you want to be fast, you can pick up something like a Suyo. Hasn't done well here. And honestly, going up against Carry, Lapu, and Owlus, I'm actually quite okay to pick up a Ling. I feel like this is one of those games, you're looking at this matchup, Ling doesn't get punished that hard.
Yeah, there's no lockdown potential so far, right? With the Lapu Lapu being picked and the carry. That's why I thought that maybe they want to prioritize something like the Moskov. But obviously, they chose the carry to set up for their own Owlus pick. I want something a little crazier though, you know? I want something like maybe an X-Borg jungle. Again, it's still something that I really do enjoy seeing in this current meta. Or maybe even something crazier like the Assassins of the world. But obviously, they are trying to set up for it. You do see the Kaja being banned out, so they are opening up more options for Viva. Oh, okay, well, there he goes.
Yeah, because GELTEK see this coming. They don't have crowd control, right? At most, they have slows. And Lapu's stun, it's very predictable. Sure, Eve might have difficulty avoiding it, same as Belleric, but a very fast assassin. Honestly, I'm looking at the draft even more. There's a lot of assassins that can really do well here, even the Hayabusa. So GELTEK, I don't think they will have enough bans to really shut down Vival, and that's kind of scary.
Vival has a lot of heroes. Even though we've only seen her on a few picks this time around here at MWI, which were mostly tanks to begin with, she has a lot that she can utilize. So I want to see them really like pin down on it. I mean, the Suyo is still definitely an option because...
Wait, no, I am seeing an Akai. Akai is available too.
It is.
They have an Eve as well as a Claw. They have enough damage, right? And they, with the Akai, they can punish all three heroes of GELTEK.
Force, carry, purify.
Honestly, just shut down QA and then you're good, right? Start QA with 0, 3, and 1. You're off to the races, and now even the Lilia gets banned out. So this is looking more and more like they're setting up for one more tank here. I mean,
I gets banned.
Okay, you know what? We know each other so well. You know, at this point, we're in his ears somehow.
Somehow, some way, the Akai gets banned. So again, Suyo is an option, which is why maybe they banned out the Lilia, right? Lilia, heavy burst, heavy damage in the early stage of the game. Suyo, very susceptible to that early game magic damage. So they set up for the Arlet first. That would have been a perfect Akai pick in if they were able to combo it with the Arlet as well, but it's not going to be available to them right now.
Yeah, I actually feel like maybe even Belleric is enough-ish for this Arlet as an activator. Because other than that, I really don't think there's too many more junglers that can really activate for the Arlet. So now for GELTEK, they need a very heavy front line here because Lapu can dive, Aulus can stay in the front, but not alone. He needs a friend. So what is going to be a good friend here? I think a Gatot would be quite well. Other than that, am I missing something here? Atlas is banned, Belleric has already been picked.
I don't think there's room for Minotaur.
They go for the... Okay, listen. I know there's a lot of anti-tanks from the side of Vitality, but the Glorious Pathway negates the slows coming in from the RWM, so maybe. And here's the thing, GELTEK, they want to play how they usually play, which is force fights. I move forward, you fight me back. Unga bunga, you die, I die, someone wins.
Which is why the Belleric is still really good in this matchup.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want. They want people to dive onto him.
So I'm surprised with the next picks as well. I'm surprised with the Valentina pick. Obviously, you can pick up the real world manipulation. It could definitely put things in your direction, and you can also copy the ultimate from Arlet. So there is creativity and playability for this Valentina to work.
Yeah, and now the Nolan gets picked up. So again, the story of the entire series here: win fast, lose fast. Although I do have to say, this time both teams have pretty solid scaling. So we might actually go to the late game, maybe 70 minutes.
Will the lights finally go out on the dark horse roster run of GELTEK Cyber Team? Or will the sun shine on them one more time to force a Game 5? Or is this when Team Vitality shuts the door on their competitor, moves forward to Grand Finals, and once again secures a championship? All that and more to figure out as we head in to Map 4. It's Team Vitality versus GELTEK Cyber Team. Brigida, Gideon, let's see what Map 4 is to bring.
And we're excited to bring you all the action here from the land of Dawn right to your screens here at MWI. The defending champions, as already put, with a composition that's looking pretty good, but I gotta give it to GELTEK. That second half really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting the Valentina and the Hylos to really pull this comp together.
It completely changed our impression of how the game could potentially go, simply because I think it was also able to, if not balance out what we thought were lacking, but also complement the idea that we were expecting from them. It's looking like a really rundown type of composition that you could just expect to fastly move around the team fights.
Yep, speaking of fastly move, we're already seeing right here, right now, they want the Lethal Wanderer bad, but Nolan is nowhere to be seen. With that, that's going to give you plenty of information as we see Nolan going vertically into enemy territory.
Ooh, they're gonna not meet here in the purple buff. They were completely aware of the movements, and Guejo's probably gonna catch it a bit too late.
That's okay, it's still at least retribution away, and then you're gonna run. And there's nothing you can do. Yeah. Nolan's particularly hard to catch in the early stages of the game, and now that he has purple buff, even more so. But now we start looking towards Fumiko's lane. A really nice freeze and a good call by Liu Blanc to say, hey, you know what? Get your boy, get everybody here. We're expecting another engagement. Help me get this wave out, and then we can go back to neutral states.
Yeah, they're playing it both aggressively on the sides, but they are not overstaying for too long enough to get punished, because GCT, seemingly with the rotations that we've been discussing or with the lineup that they have, could be quick to do just that in order to provide some respo. We're seeing once again another attempt potentially up top, but Vival has different plans in mind. Vivian and Vival are just trying to scout out Kyoe.
Yep, I mean, for the longest time, Kyoe was already revealed on the map, and Vival right now has some decent damage, but needs to catch Kyoe without her cooldowns. It's the only way they're going to be able to make this work.
That's what I'm thinking. Does Vival actually burst down Kyoe, especially if they catch them off guard, as the Nolan? Because I feel like that could be one of the go-to plans for Vitality if they want to make things a bit more simpler on their end.
They absolutely can, but they need Vival to have a lead first. Damage reduction is a really powerful stat, and only very few heroes actually have access to them. Luckily, we got two of them already in the Lapu Lapu and the Aulus, making it a really big difference in how long these fights are gonna go. Man, that Concussive Blast is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, they poked down Cindy to half HP, forcing her to recall even before this objective. I think at least Chell has been able to double lane to a certain extent, so Vitality
something
are
I need to
really
change
focusing on the farm, at least for now. But oh, wait, Vival might find Tokyo here, but at least Tokyo does get to find a way out with a flicker.
Oh, luckily, denied that second wave, and this will be the grab does go over into Quad's hands. Now the next fight begins.
Liubo, bravest fighter. Vival's actually very low. Vitality have very little ways to contest this, but do they actually find a way around it? It's a no. Kyoe still secures it with the retribution. Vivian has to flicker out, but Liubon and Kyoe are actually going for the chase. That's gonna be first blood for GCT.
Okay, not bad. At least they get one into Vivian. Not exactly ideal to lose one of your team members, but at least Vivian hit 4 before she went down. Timers are still very low. 4 seconds, she's already back up, and now attacking on the bottom side. Guess what? Claude ain't that easy, especially with fighter emblems. So much sustain.
But I think that was a huge advantage, really, that GCT got to make out of that simple poke they got to do onto Cine, and even the reaction from Vival. So now they've somewhat gotten a bit more control across the map, but Kyoe looking very low. Still not enough to take her down.
Yep, the people who want to burst her down can't catch her without the cooldown. Everybody else just doesn't have enough burst to finish her off. Even so, we see that GCT, honestly, this has been a very honest game from both sides. No sly movements, no overly thought out plans. It's very straightforward. We're looking to play it and keep it simple. Vitality. So far, we've only seen the biggest play, Vival trying to catch out Tokyo. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that again, but they're readjusting to move a lot of their forces to the top side of the map.
Yep, we might see a bit more of that come, especially here towards the purple buff. Vitality are not letting go of this push. Quejo already has to deal with a bit of damage, but now they're going to respond back with the glorious pathway. Vival, though, just goes right in. There's a cleaving axe as a response from Kyoei, and I think they deny the purple buff. And the real world manipulation too falling into place. The stuns from Liuban are actually going to connect. They find the trade onto Vival, and now City and Vivian just have to escape, but do they have the tools? This is Liuban going for the chase. The stun lands, and that's another kill over to GCT.
Beautifully played by both sides, but most impressively, Liuban was able to respond in time to catch all three of the members into the Raging Slash after the Bravest Fighter, and now they look for turrets.
Oh, Fumieko does use the final slash, will get away safely, but is very low on HP. Might not be able to set up for this turtle, and even Vival doesn't seem to be ready for this just yet. Vivian will be showing up, however, and City is back too.
Oh, they're trying to zone them out here, and they successfully do so. They get, oh no, not a full reset. And unfortunately, Vitality will take the turtle off of that. GCT, a little unlucky there, but so far, this is why Yves is one of the best mages that we have in the meta. Are they going to be able to catch this?
Oh, they give up that tier 1 down bottom in exchange of the turtle, since Chell had to participate in that too. Warak's pickup already there for Fumieko. Could Vitality potentially be a bit more aggressive now in terms of the team fights? Because so far, based on what we've been seeing, it's more of like a back and forth between GCT, but it's always GCT being the first to actually position themselves.
Yeah. And better yet, they've been taking the initiative as well, right? They're not just going to take it lying down anymore. They're continuously trying to find opportunities. Vival looking to intercept Tokyo.
Oh.
Rest of them zoning them out. Vivian has Flicker, so she's going to be fine, but that's a pretty big battle spell to lose. This top side, they find it. Great patience from Vival.
Vivian did burn the Flicker there, but I think her passing through that route eventually allowed Vitality to get away safely too, but that was a much more favorable trade for them. They definitely got a kill and turret up top, which probably could hand back the lead towards Vitality this time, but Wrath of Dryad already forced out of Vivian! Fracture coming in from Vival, and now they just focus on Kyoei! The strength of the real-world manipulation is something you're really seeing when Vitality decides to punish.
Yeah, but GCT, they got to make sure that they do their due diligence, right? They got to remember, if Vitality's making like a, oh, if we think this person is solo, would a solo player be walking up this far up? Never at this level of play, never in high level, unless they're trying to get into your head. Then there's another layer to add.
This is currently a lead that's already back in Vitality's hands. It's just continuously going to grow from this point onwards as we look at Chell already prioritizing the DHS on the Claude. So you could really expect that they might be prioritizing a bit more of the fights early on rather than just scaling in a bit more of the macro. Oh, but the Glorious Pathway is already used by Quejo here.
They just want to make sure they get out of this safely, right? They don't, it looks like they're not going to go for the contest because they don't have the first position. Neither do they have enough information about whether or not they can walk through Tribe Rush or maybe through mid lane. It's just not worth the risk, especially after what Tokyo had to go through. Down by bot side is going to be a upward spiral for Kyoei, right? Just gonna have to farm as much as she can. Unfortunately for a hero like Aulus, the jungle just isn't enough. Similarly like Nolan, you gotta go into the wave every once in a while.
But this Nolan also picked up the Malefic gun just now. So you could expect a lot more damage. It's currently being surrounded though, but there will be help. Vivian too, coming from behind! That's Wrath of Dryad! The final slash did not connect, but I think it's gonna be enough to at least take down Quejo. GCT did not expect that quick rotation to come in from Vitality, and they still want more. Vivian going for the chase. Fumieko dashing in with a vengeance. Chell and the blazing duet. Fractures from Vitality. Damages everywhere to take down 3 from GCT.
Real unfortunate here. hey, Luon, they're gonna make a try, but unfortunately, if you're not gonna commit the flicker, it's just not enough.
Oh, Tokyo too, trying to find a trade cheat. Does find Fumieko, but they lose out on too much.
I mean, at this point, Vitality understand they've all the early game heroes who've hit their power spikes, they're ready to go. But even better, if we pull up the item list, I'm fairly confident that Vival is already like maybe 2.5 items, arguably 3 items at this point.
Yep, we get to check that later on as Quaedro just tries her best to clear this minion wave in mid, and there you have it.
2.5 items, now slowly building up. Oh, whoa, Chell, let's calm down here. Yeah, it'd be a really bad time to give over a shutdown over to GCT at this point of time, because we look at GCT's items, right? Lubon is kind of the only one who can really compete with some of the members of Vitality. It really depends on the advantages. On the opposite end, Kyoe, 2 items, but not enough attack speed to really start benefiting off of all the extra benefits from Awless. Not to mention that just going to go for the endless battle, just need a little bit more burst to sustain through the power, sustain through the pain.
Yep. So at this point, it's really Lubon who you probably expect to lead the charge, if any, for GCT. But do they really want to risk it at this point? Because they get spotted out in mid. There goes the real final slash, already committed onto Quaedro, but that's just space. That's just time that Vitality are able to buy.
They move away. 3.4, 3.6 now as it continues. The Skyro rocket for Vitality. I'm expecting it to end up closer towards 6 to 7k. The 7k depends on whether or not a fight breaks out, but 6k if they get all the outer turrets from this point onwards.
Yeah.
And I think that Vival, very happy with everything that has happened. Nobody can stop him, right? There is only one Kyoe. Nobody else has a point-and-click gun. And even for Sanj, still needs to apply the Terrify 2 times to trigger it to happen with a Shadow Strike. So, I don't know. Vitality, the way that they're going in and out of these fights, it's just too much to deal with.
I guess at most it's if you get the Wrath of Dryad or the Final Slash, but Vivian actually goes in to use it first. They really want to take the space turret. Chell trying to focus down on this objective, but still GCT are heavy on the defense. Kyoe pushing them away. Lubon jumping in with the bravest fighter, but the Latch Shaker does not connect onto anyone. GCT are forced to disengage.
Unfortunate. They really needed that Land Shaker to connect to Cine. But now, underneath the turret, there's still a possibility of that final slash. And I'm waiting for that big play by Fumieko, but I think that Vitality says, hey, calm down, girl. Not right now. Not right now. Wait till the next Lord. I guarantee you GCT is going to walk out.
I think they're trying to constantly remind each other to just not give any openings to GCT, especially now that we're finally seeing that 6 to 7k gold lead that you've previously mentioned as expected. But even the panel too, they also brought up a point about this potentially getting to the 16 to 17-minute mark, but I am not sure if Vitality want to make it to that point, especially now that they're looking at a lineup which could really heavily scale into the late game.
Well, there's only 2 ways that can happen. Either number 1, Kyoe somehow steals the Lord, this next upcoming Lord. It's the second one that's spawning, by the way, so it is kind of, it is kind of difficult to chunk down, especially since Vitality are all over level.
Wait, speaking of all over the place, they're actually trying to pick a fight here in the orange buff. Kyoe already bursted down heavily by the damage coming in from Vival, whereas Fumieko trying to go in a 1v1 versus Tokyo, but the blazing do it from Chell! She barely made it out alive there, but the damage is going to be enough. Vival trying to go for more targets. There goes another kill onto Tokyo, or Kyoe as well. Did GCT really want to fight them there?
Honestly, looking at everything, GCT came out on top.
Yeah.
They were 6.6k down, got an even 50-50 trade against their opponents, used the same amount of battle spells, the same amount of ultimates, and yet came out despite the huge economic lead coming in from Vitality. We'll have to look at the spread of where the gold actually is. I'm guessing most of it is actually on Vival, but a really good attempt because now, by the time the Lord actually spawns, it's a full reset.
Come to think of it, it's actually surprising that Vitality seem to have used, if not all, most of their resources just to get those kills against GCT. Even the entries from Chell with the Blazing Duet felt like it took a bit too long before we could actually feel majority of the damage to come through. But at least Vitality still get the advantage in terms of the Allure.
The Lord was inevitable. I would have liked to see GCT actually do the exact same move, but just maintaining that distance constantly, playing the footsies against Vitality just to make sure, hey, you may get first position, but at least we know all of your first positions.
Okay. I think somehow the damage is a bit more expected to come through. That the Lightning Truncheon already locked in for Sonj, and Tokyo's already completed the Trinity as well for this carry. But I think the question remains, what does Sonj actually pick up for the IMU to really make sure that they get at least an advantage against Vitality in terms of the counter engage? Is it really the Wrath of Dryad that they could really make the most out of, or could it be the final slash?
I don't know. I'm thinking
RWM?
I think it has to be the RWM. There's just nothing else like it, especially when you have a glorious pathway on your side. At least you can slow them down, but here comes the next upcoming fight. I don't know if Vitality want to commit to this right now, because they still have that second wave, but now, look at Vival, literally playing with her food. Keep in mind that the majority of that 9K lead is because of Vival.
Oh, that's spicy. Liubon trying to take on this 1v1, but there's also a separate team fight happening in mid. Kuecho right under the real world manipulation as Liubon goes down in the hands of Vival. And that's exactly what we were asking. This is such a brave decision to come in from Liubon, but at least they get to defend the base.
This is disgusting. Disgusting stuff coming out from Vival right now. And the rest of the team is working like a well-oiled machine, denying space, making sure that nothing feels safe. It feels like GCT, every time they open up a bush, it's a minefield out there.
Yeah, who do you actually send to do that? It's mostly supposed to be Kuecho, right? Already having to pick up the immortality as well, but even then the burst damage might be a bit too much to handle. The final slash gets touched somehow here by Kyoei, but even as she just tried to clear, you could see how difficult she had to how the difficulty she had to deal with in terms of surviving the damage from Vitality.
Yeah, but now Vitality, they crack their knuckles, they sit back. We got the 9K lead, guys.
Okay.
The next Lord is where we must end it. First, we need to make sure that GCT doesn't get to the 42K mark comfortably, right? They're going to eventually hit it. There's no going around that, but we can make their life a living hell.
No one's aware that Vival's there in that bush too. GCT have seemed to understand that they might need to group together a bit more, and there have been some movements down bottom, but they just can't confidently push further. They have barely little idea of where Vitality are currently positioned at the map.
Oh my goodness. After looking at the damage dealt and damage taken, it's kind of difficult to argue that GCT doesn't have enough damage, but the truth is they just don't have enough items. They don't have enough gold. And finally, the Malefic Roar is out for Kyoei.
Oh, Kumieko going in, tries to dive, goes for Sonjke. Sonjke steals away the final slash, but they're still yet to go for the counter engage. Just chill and Viva from the back! They make sure that this is gonna be a clean wipeout! Immortality pop for Kuejo. She's the only one left alongside Liubon, but it's a Maniac and it's a potential Savage once again! Vival takes 2 Savages in this series as they walk their way to the Grand Finals potentially!
Oh my goodness. What a game this was. From not only outplays, we finally come to the outclass. The title defenders are here and are wanting to stay. Welcome to the Grand Finals. We missed you here.
The MWI champions of 2024 and 2025 will meet at the Grand Finals of this year. It wasn't as clean as their previous run. They've been dropping games, they've been having long games, but